Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and greet this year's inductees into the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame, your class of 2019. Your class of 2019 Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame inductees. Another round of applause. And gentlemen, please take your seats. This is the first time we've had the entire team come up. I'm thinking it cuts drastically into booze sales, but it's something we'll have to put up with for tonight. Well, my name is Dave Evans, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for this evening's festivities. I'd like to first of all welcome everyone. We've got people, as we always do, from across the country. I don't know if we have anybody up from the States this year. I know we have a couple of people from overseas, from the beautiful land of Vancouver Island. We always send out a special welcome to them. We'd like to welcome you all here tonight to celebrate with this year's inductees and share their special evening. Now, those of you who were here last year are probably wondering what the hell I'm doing up here, since I promised last year that I wasn't going to be doing this anymore. Enough to say that I was coerced into doing it again, but what I will say is that there are no refunds. You can't get your money back just because you were promised that I wasn't going to be here. And just a note to the people here from Ontario, which is a lot of you. Incidentally, super to see so many people out, mostly from the Whitby area, but from Ontario. A lot of guys here from Brampton. Great to have you out here. I might mention that, and everybody in here who is not from parts east will vouch for this, that this is the first day we've had rain in a long, long time. So don't go back to Ontario bellyaching that it always rains in BC, because it doesn't. Now, I'd now like to introduce the Vice Chair of the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame Board of Governors, Mr. Tony Glavin, to come up and say a few words on behalf of the board. Once again, Chairman Dave Lancaster has wussed out and passed this role on to Tony.
Yeah, you think Dave's trying to get out of his contract here. But welcome, everyone. I'm Tony Glavin. I'm the Vice Chair of the Board of Governors. And I have the privilege of welcoming all of you here tonight. And in particular, on behalf of the board, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our honored inductees and their families. Also the many members that come here year in and year out, inductees. I see Rick Mang sitting out there. The Goss brothers are here. So many of the inductees that show up. Peter Black. Thanks for coming every year, folks. It's a pleasure to see you every year. Also, I'd like to welcome the Joey Harris from the CLA is here, Jim Burke from the Canadian Lacrosse Foundation, who's also a Hall of Famer and is here every year. The WLA's here with a big table. The Warriors are here. Thanks for coming, guys. And the BCLA is here. They have a table, so thanks for coming back. I'd like to also welcome members of our board and generally all the friends of lacrosse. I'd like to thank the out-of-towners for coming, particularly those who bring all their families out. It's unbelievable, so thank you. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of Chief Rhonda Larrabee, who's normally here. She's the chief of the New Westminster Kite Band. Couldn't make it tonight, but would want me to welcome you here on her behalf. Also, for the City of New Westminster, normally you'll see Chuck Puckmeyer here, who's a former Hall of Fame governor himself, and Lisa Spitali, who's the city manager. They can't be here tonight. It's Chuck Puckmeyer's 65th birthday. So happy birthday, Chuck, and we'll miss you tonight. In a moment, I'm going to give you a quick overview of how and what we've been doing with the board this year and with the hall. There's a lot of exciting things to report on. But first, I was remiss last year in thanking certain people. Really remiss. So I got to get these out of the way before I forget. The first one is Leah Oyam. Is Leah here? You got to stand. So last year, thanks. Leah's on our board. She does this entire banquet every year with the help of a few people, but mainly it falls to her to do it. Last year, I had all of the board members listed to thank, and then it was going to be this big, you know, all the streamers were going to fall out of the ceiling and balloons and everything, and a big thanks to Leah, and I just completely skipped over it, so I forgot. And anyway, I wanted to go first with Leah. Thanks for everything you do to put on this banquet, Leah Oyam. Let me thank a few other of the board members. I'll recognize them all very quickly, but Rick Wills is here, and Rick, many of you know him and helps out with Leah with the banquet every year. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Willsy. And I'm not going in any order of priority here. I haven't even got to the chairman of our board yet, so I'll tell you why in a minute. He ranks way down there. But the next person I'd like to thank and recognize on the board is Dave Evans. He's an honored member of the Hall of Fame. I think you've gone in as a player and as part of a team, maybe two teams. And he should get his third or fourth induction at some time for being a builder, because he does so much for the game and for this hall. So please recognize Dave Evans. I joke usually every year about saying I've got him in this ironclad contract and he's got to be the MC every year, but he does such a great job. You're going to really enjoy him, as we do every year. It's a tough job, though. He puts a lot of effort into it, and we are very appreciative of what you do, Dave. Thanks. Next, I'd like to have Dave Soul stand. He's a longtime board member and now our new executive director of the Hall. It's a new position that we have with the Hall of Fame. Dave Soul used to star in Starsky and Hutch, and we just call him Hutch. So anyway, Dave's doing a great job, and I'll report shortly on what he's achieved in the position of executive director in the last several months in this new position. Okay, I guess we'll get to our chairman, Dave Lancaster. Our beloved chairman is here. Dave, stand, come on. I'll give you a little roast. He's way down the list here at fifth, and that, you know, I passed off the chairmanship to Dave several years ago. He's obviously taking it in the right direction, and he's paid me back for switching jobs with him by making me do this every year. So thanks, Dave. Thanks for the delegation. The other board members we should recognize, Dave Stewart Candy. I don't think Dave's here tonight. He does a lot of work with our artifacts and working with photos and jerseys in the museum. Ted Howe, who's an honored inductee, member of the Eastern Selection Committee, and a board member, and does a lot of work, and obviously brings the two ends of the country together, at least central Canada and the West. Bruce McDonald, I don't know if Bruce is here, I didn't see him. There he is, hi Bruce. So Bruce is here. He's been on our board for several years. He's a writer. He's a real historian of the game of lacrosse, and a big benefit to our board. We have a few new members. Laura Swan is here. Laura. And Ray Porcelato. And Laura, both Laura and Ray bring, they're business people, so they bring their business acumen to our board, and they really help us out on a lot of issues with their business savvy, including the silent auction that Laura's put on tonight. So thanks very much for doing that, Laura. And happy birthday. It's your birthday. Corinne Perriman, who's a long-standing member and a friend of everyone in lacrosse. I call her Ms. Lacrosse, Ms. BC Lacrosse. She does a lot of stuff for a lot of different lacrosse organizations in the Lower Mainland, including in our hall, and is a real vital person on our board. Corinne, where are you? Say hello. There she is. Finally, we're getting some new blood in here because we got to transition some of us old people off. So I always go out, I always say you got to replace yourself on a board. So I'm looking at this gentleman, Matt Black, who's not here tonight. But Matt's played lacrosse for years. He coaches Team BC team. He's down, I think they're down in Florida with his daughter's team, or some team down in the States. But he's the son of Peter Black, who's an inductee, and Don Black, a former member of Parliament. So he brings that good lacrosse stock and public service stock, and he's going to be a really good board member. So we welcome Matt Black. Big round of applause for our board. A couple other people I wanted, did I? What? Who? Where is he? Bob, is he here, Bob Cleveley? But I've forgotten him, sorry, yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna have to like roast him next year too. Bob Cleveley's on our board too, sorry about that. So he's another Eastern member who's joined our board. Bob who? Sorry. I'll call them Bob who. No, Bob Cleveley, great guy, inducted a few years ago, and he and Ted Howe from the East have been excellent board members. Thanks, special round of applause for Bob Cleveley. Let me recognize a couple other guys who have been, you know, important to the hall and helpful with the hall's growth. Our chief benefactor is the Canadian Lacrosse Foundation. The chair is Jim Burke, and Jim's here with us. And Joey Harris is here with the CLA as well. And both of them have been very supportive of the hall. The foundation has funded us and has assisted us in having an executive director now that can run the hall on a day-to-day basis. So it's been a huge help for us. So thanks to Jim Burke and Joey Harris. Okay, quick update on our hall over the last 12 months. And really getting that funding from the foundation has allowed Dave Hutch Soul to take on a number of projects for us, do a lot of community outreach, a lot of work with our social media, our website, and I'll just run down a few of the things that we've done. So we've partnered on our community outreach front with the Canadian Lacrosse Foundation to do an oral history of a number of the greats. Jack Fulton was interviewed. Several of the greats across Canada have been interviewed and professionally filmed for history. And those in partnership with the foundation, it's called The Legends of Lacrosse. And Dave Soul has taken those longer bits, put them onto our social media, Facebook and Snapchat, that can link you into the longer YouTube interviews. So they're very interesting, and I think you'll enjoy them. Also, we have a traveling display that we take across Canada. We had that out at the World Indoor Lacrosse Championships in Langley, thanks to Dave Soul and others that attended on that, but it was well received in Langley over the 12 days of that tournament. We also hosted the BC Sports Hall of Fame annual general meeting and conference here at the Anvil Centre, and they provided a focus on lacrosse. It was a nice partnership that we had with the BC Sports Hall, and it included special recognition of 2 distinguished contributors to sport in British Columbia, lacrosse in British Columbia, Jack Fulton and Rochelle Winterton from the BCLA, so congratulations to those 2. It's actually the first time that the BC Sports Hall of Fame has held its AGM outside of its normal venue downtown, and you know, teamed up and really focused on lacrosse. So it was very ingenious. Manic came out, partnered up with Hutch, and they did a great job. Finally, in terms of the hall's artifacts and the expansion of the hall itself, we were really lucky. We were contacted by Larry Power. Many of you know him as Wamper, and his Bible of Lacrosse that has all of the statistics of players right across the country, thousands of players that have played the game. We were contacted by him and his family shortly before his unfortunate passing this past summer. So over the last few years, we've worked with Wamper, and we've been able to bring his Bible of Lacrosse into our Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame website that contains over 4,000 Senior A player profiles and hundreds of images of players and digitized programs dating back to the 1930s. So we really want to recognize and thank Larry Power and his family for their dedication. Thank you. Finally, just a few other thanks in addition to Bob Cleveley. Did I mention him? The Piper, Jeff Sims, thank you very much. Every year, Jeff, you do a great job, and we appreciate the time. On portrait photography and slides, we've got Paul Horn, who's a former board member. Thanks, Paul, for what you do. We also have Art Young Productions, who's working the video of this event. Thank you, Art, and your team. And Ernie Myers, who provides the flowers and boutonnieres. So thanks again. Once again, congratulations to the inductees. Thank you to the people who came in from out of town, and have a great evening tonight.
Thanks, Tony. One quick note, Tony mentioned the silent auction that Laura and Ray Porcelato will put together. Just point out that again, it's up in the far corner. And just a note to some of the, you know, the older farts here, you know, Brunzer and Peter Black and so forth. There's a great thing out there, Sierra Sil, joint formula. That could be the sleeper on the silent auction table. That could get us millions. We could all come out of here like, who's the hockey player? Ray, what's his name anyway, who sells it. Anyway, some great items out there, trips, meals, wine, please check it out. We're not going to close the silent auction bidding off until partway through the actual induction, so you've got lots of time throughout dinner and so forth to go back and check it out, so please do so. Now, just before dinner, every year, as you know, we celebrate the accomplishments, the deeds, the feats of the inductees. But at the same time, we have to celebrate the lives of those people that we've lost over the past 12 months. Not only people from the Hall of Fame, but people from the lacrosse world and people from your families. I'm sure there isn't anybody in here who hasn't suffered a loss at some point during this past year. Also, given the time of year, we don't have to, we must remember those veterans, the men and women, the servicemen and women who fought for us many years ago, who gave their lives, had their lives unalterably changed, and I'd like to see us give a thanks to them as well. So I'd just like to ask you to bow your heads for a brief moment of silence in memory of whoever you want it to be in memory of, but particularly the veterans who have given their lives for us and the members of the lacrosse community. Thank you very much. I just think that so many people have given their lives so that people like us can go out and play kids' games. It's pretty damn good. I also think it might not be a bad idea that we all make a pledge to make every day Remembrance Day, not just November 11th. Now, on that note, it's dinner time. So I will be back with you shortly. Please enjoy your dinner. The waitstaff will be around with your meals anytime now. And as I say, please feel free. The bar will be open throughout dinner, and please feel free to go out and check out the silent auction items, especially that Sierra Sil. I hear it's good stuff.